Hey, welcome to Season 8 Update Preview. I'm a couple of days late to this. It came out, 4 days ago. But had a busy weekend, so couldn't get round to recording. But we're going to have a little leisurely look through the patch notes. If you haven't had a chance to go through them yourself already, then welcome in. If you have, and you've seen other videos like this, well, thanks for joining anyway. Let's jump in. So first off, I mean, it's great to see some new patch notes come through. Last season was a bit of a slog towards the end. Not having the map rotation halfway through really elongated that season 7. So first we've got the summer event, new portraits, new coats of arms, new patterns. I personally love getting these. I always try and unlock as many as I can. So yeah, definitely will be getting those. And the season 8 rewards, some nice goblets, new banner outlines, templates and patterns as well coming there. Always good to see. First off, we've got the map pool rotation. So this will go over to Arabia, Cliffside, Rocky River, Himiyama, Gorge, Hillendale, Canal, the Pit and Baltic. So I'll definitely be vetoing Canal. I hate that one. Baltic's a big lake in the middle of the map, so maybe I'll experiment and we'll start playing some ranked 1v1s on water, but probably not. Team ranked, we've got Arabia, Cliffside, Rocky River, Canal, Gorge, Migration, Hideout, Forts and Waterholes. I think I only played team ranked Forts once last season, and a bit of a weird map that. Kind of glad it's out of the 1v1 pool for now. That's good. Yeah, team ranked, not bad. And they have mentioned there will be a map pool rotation halfway through season 8 as well. So that's good. A new map coming out. It's Socotra. This was seen in the newest EGC TV event. Pretty interesting map. Really small little island. You have access to water around the island, but no fish. So yeah, pretty chaotic map, that one. Design rework, attack move. We've made an adjustment to the default attack move behavior, designed to help prevent accidental misclicks. On PC, this can be changed back by setting attack move behavior setting under game options to legacy. Check out the full details of this rework below. We will do. Gameplay general fixes. Fixed an issue where scouts can skip their reload animations. Didn't actually know that was still in the game. That's animation cancelling. That was something that plagued the game when it first released. The scouts were pretty obnoxious, really. They could really do a lot of damage to villagers by cancelling auto attack animations and things like that. So we've got some AI updates. AI will now attempt to fortify contested islands on naval maps. Fixed an issue that sometimes caused the game to crash after loading a save game that contains AI players, and fixed some issues with the AI focusing too much on age up that were introduced as part of the difficulty rebalancing. Some nice little AI tweaks there. Campaign fixed an issue where skipping a campaign cutscene could result in the map being briefly revealed in the next non-campaign match. Interesting stuff. Hotkeys. Using the hotkey combination to queue build multiple units, shift Q by default, on the Byzantine mercenary house works again. Great. Dervish and warrior monks no longer selected with military shortcuts. Scouts no longer selected with military shortcuts. I've seen this mentioned everywhere. So this will be a welcome change to some people. Honestly, I never used the select all military. I don't know why. I use select all idle military. Whether this will affect that, I don't know. We will see. Maybe that's what they're talking about. Who knows? UX and UI. Population capacity reach will only be shown once, even if multiple units are produced. This is great because you just get that pop-up, that sound over and over and over every time you were reaching max pop. So this is nice, very nice. Added a free-for-all map pool and allowed for the map vetoes to be specified in that pool. Great stuff. Localization. We've made some additional updates to Japanese localization. fixed an untranslated Finnish string for the title of Dubois are back in town achievement. I love this pun. It's great. Really props to the devs for that mission name. Excellent stuff. New map, Socotra. Chaos emerges as different civilizations crowd together on the small island of Socotra, struggling to expand on what little space they could get. This will be a pretty interesting map with some pretty wild games, I think. Kind of similar to, what was that map where it was surrounded by mountains and the actual play space was really small? Crater, maybe? Something like that. Basically that, but with water. So yeah, nice. General map changes. Sheep now produce 200 food instead of 250. 2 additional sheep spawn under each player's starting town center. Developer note, the intention of the changes above is to guarantee a safe amount of sheep for each player and reduce the chance of games swinging as a result of one player getting the majority of the sheep on the map. With this change, the overall food on a standard map is kept mostly the same, reduced by only 200 per player. Okay, interesting. We'll see how this... Difficult to say exactly how this will go. I mean, 2 additional sheep under your TC is pretty nice. Just keeps you safer for a bit longer. Maybe kind of neutralizes some of those feudal pushes as you have a bit more food. Might just be that extra little bit more food that you need to build up the units to counter the feudal age aggression. We'll have to see. But interesting to see that change. Map specific changes. Baltic fixed an issue where pit mines in Ovus could not be built due to trees spawning nearby. Cliffside neutral gold and stone mines no longer spawn on the cliffside in a way that prevents Uvu and pit placement, and that's the same again on Himeyama. And Warring Islands fixed a crash that could happen when generating a Warring Islands team game on a small map size. Balance and bug fixes. General changes and bug fixes. Fixed an issue that caused performance issues when interacting with the player profile. Fixed a bug where the game would crash if the player clicked on a unit or upgrade in the global queue during a replay and free camera turned off. That's a lot of stuff that has to happen to cause a crash, but they fix it, so that's good. Fixed a bug where the game will crash if the player pressed Ctrl H while observing a match and free camera turned off. Fixed an issue where sometimes a prayer tent would not give its influence bonus after researching monastic shrines. Destroying a stone wall bastion will now destroy neighboring wall segments to guarantee that large units like rams can move through the resulting hole. I think the wall bastions are the circular point of the wall that's at like the end of the wall and maybe next to gates. I think that's what the bastions are. Addressed issues with information leaks in Fog of War related to construction UI, and move or attack move commands issued outside the playable area of the map will now be shifted inside the playable area instead of displaying an error. Good, that's a nice little fix there. I'm sure some games were lost because of that over the years. Fixed a crash that could occur while loading into a multiplayer game, and defenses now properly show the building's default weapon range on pre and post construction. Design rework, attack move. We made an adjustment to the default attack move behavior. Previously, when issuing an attack move to a unit or building, the attack move was converted into a forced attack command, as if you had right-clicked the target instead. So this is like if you control A farm, your units will all just attack the farm. But now it'll act as a broad attack move command, and they won't specifically attack that one building. The new default, so they said this made it particularly difficult to use attack move around areas with lots of farms, and would often lead to misclicks where you accidentally attack move a unit in a group instead of the ground nearby. The new default attack move behavior always treats the attack move as a ground click, so that when you issue an attack move to a unit or building, your new units will attack move to their location. And then they're just saying you can revert that on PC. Nice. That should be really helpful. Very nice change. Game mode Dominion. When a king is garrisoned in a transport ship, it is no longer possible to delete the ship. Great, nice. Balance and gameplay changes. Docks and House of Wisdom now have both an economic and a military rally point. Awesome. This will be particularly useful when using docks. You can now have 2 different rally points, one for your fishing ships and one for your military ships, which I think they specify just down here. So that's great. Rally points can now be queued using the hotkey or command card. I don't know what that means. I don't know what a command card is. It is now possible to buy and sell resources at the market in batches of 500 while holding shift. Yes, this is great. I've been playing a lot of Nomad free-for-alls, and when those games go late, I mean, you just want to sell or buy stuff in larger batches. So this is actually great. I like this a lot. And I think I was holding shift anyway, just hoping it kind of worked. But now it does. So that's great. After defeating a forced attack target, buildings will now scan for a new target instead of always falling back to their previous target. Cool. So you can target the TCs and outposts and things like that. So that's good. Siege weapons that are too close to their target to fire on them will now attempt to move away from the target to a position where they are able to fire. They will only do this if they are attacking a target that cannot move, such as a building. Okay, interesting. Horseman range increased from 0.29 to 0.38. So this is one of the big changes that I have seen commented in the community. It's a decent increase. Just under a third horseman range. I'm guessing Ghazi and Sipahi already have that increased attack range, so are unaffected by this one. But this is going to be good. This should make horsemen just a little less buggy and weird, especially when attacking villagers during raids and things like that. I think this should be pretty nice. As someone who often builds a few horsemen in feudal just to put on a bit of pressure, I'm excited to see this in game and how important it ends up being. Secondary town centers have had garrison slots increased from 7 to 8. Very nice. 7 felt so small. Second TCs were pretty difficult to keep safe, really, even from a small force. Even one battering ram could really put on a lot of pressure onto the second TC, and I think this will just help keep your villagers a little bit more safe. Villagers will now deposit carried resources after completing construction of a farm. Awesome, very nice. No more wasted resources, hopefully there. And naval updates: dhows and canoes now fire arrows from the head of the ship instead of the center. Okay. Heated shot: archer ships now switch to incendiary arrow effects after researching heated shot, and that's a visual representation only. Fishing boat line of sight is reduced by 25%. They did have a pretty big sight range. I think this will just mean your reactions are going to have to be a bit quicker if you are under attack by some military ships against your fishing boats. You're just going to have to be a bit quicker on moving them out of range. Fishing boat train time increased. Interesting. So a couple of nerfs here to fishing boats, and there are often complaints in the community that fishing is just too strong. So I think this will help alleviate. You're definitely going to be quite a lot slower in building up that fishing boat mass. So yeah, good to see. Maybe I will try out some water maps now that fishing isn't quite as overtuned. Abbasid Dynasty and the Ayyubids. Docks now only show the range for the healing aura. Okay, nice. I don't know what this is from, what it was showing beforehand, but yeah. Okay, on to the main stuff, the civilian specific changes. Abbasid Dynasty corrected a bug where medical centers would persist on destroyed landmark and capital town centers. Oh, okay. Byzantines. So lots of complaints again in the community that these guys are just too strong. So Olive Grove cost increased from 60 to 70 wood. Pretty minor cost, but I know they are looking at making smaller tweaks and potentially more of them, rather than big sweeping changes. So I think this is pretty small. We'll see if it makes a difference. It just means, you know, you're going to be spending a bit more wood during feudal age and castle as you build up that farm transition. We'll see how it affects them. Dromon move speed increased from 1.38 to 1.5. Dromon Greek fire-based damage increased from 2 to 4. This is their fire ship, I think. I don't think I've even seen one of these in game. So cool, nice. Developer note: this value only applies to fishing ships and demos. Damage versus military ships and buildings unchanged. Okay, so is this from the fishing ship? They don't fire things from the fishing ships, do they? I'm not sure. I don't know what this means. What's the Dromon? I'll take a look in a bit. Corrected an issue where pilgrim flasks would overlap with shield wall on Limitane when playing on Xbox console with keyboard and mouse. It's a lot of stuff that they've fixed. That's nice. Olive oil is properly deposited when a villager carrying it is garrisoned. Cool. So some Byzantine player could have even been losing out on a bit of olive oil, but now they get that back. Chinese increased the radius of Imperial Palace spy ability from 1.25 to 3. That's a pretty big increase. The Imperial Palace spy ability shows, I think, all enemy villagers on the map. And from here up to 15 seconds now rather than 10. So pretty strong ability, really. You can see where villagers are moving to, if they're constructing anything, what external resources they're currently on. So good for raiding. You can pick your moments, pick the right spots. Don't often see it used that much, but maybe it will start being used a lot more now. It seems to be quite a lot more potent. And corrected an issue where battering ram was missing from the Chugnu radial menu. And for the Delhi, upgrades now count towards the technology score based on the upgrade's base time cost. Fishing ship damage decreased from 7 to 6. So Delhi fishing boats can actually fire arrows. So they've had their damage reduced a little bit. Garrison scholars in docks production speed modifier decreased from 30 to 20%. Okay, so I guess another nerf to fishing boat production there for the Delhi. Yeah, that's a nerf, right? Garrison scholars in docks production speed modifier. Production speed, yeah, it's slower now. Right. Hisar Academy now can now be selected with research shortcuts. Fishing boat arrows no longer miss their targets. Okay, so maybe that's why they reduced the damage, because you can no longer miss. Makes sense. Manuscript trade is now a default bonus for the civilization. Docks garrison capacity increased from 3 to 4. Okay, so they get one more space than normal other civilian docks. Docks now generate influence as mosques do, and docks will now produce provide a free scholar in its garrison if it was the first dock constructed before a mosque. So docks now acting as a mosque. So on hybrid maps and water maps, you can now play Delhi. You don't have to go straight for the mosque. You can use the dock as a substitute and retain all those bonuses whilst producing your fishing ships. Cool, nice. English, another very controversial civ at the moment. So they have increased the train time of the king by 15 seconds. Quite a big percentage there. I think this will just be 15 seconds, time enough to get a spearman out, or maybe time to finish that tower you were building. So pretty good. I think this will have a decent impact. Obviously it's not slowing down the English, but it might slow down their rate of slowing you down. That makes sense. And White Tower production speed reduced from 100 to 75%. So another little White Tower nerf there. White Tower still able to garrison 20 villagers though, or 20 units, which I think is one of the strongest points of that landmark. But this will help for sure. Nice. We'll see. Again, it's small tweaks, but I don't think they want to be too heavy-handed with certain things. So we'll see how this plays out. I like it. Good changes. French. Town centres work 10, 15, 20, 25% faster per age, changed to 15, 15, 20, and 25% faster. So an extra 5% in the Dark Age, that probably gets you out an extra villager over the course of the Dark Age, I imagine. Maybe 1.5 bills. Pretty nice there. That's going to be pretty strong, I think. Obviously, they already had 10% faster, so they could produce more workers anyway. So this is, yeah, not bad. I mean, French are really struggling at the moment in 1v1s. Team games, they are pretty strong, pretty dominant. Yeah, this is good to see. Hopefully bring them their percentage up 1 or 2%. Probably not 2%, it's quite a lot, but yeah, bring them more in line with the rest of the civs. Red Palace landmark influence increased by 1 tile to match normal keeps. Cool. Artillery shot has been reworked. It's now a targeted ability that increases the range of the cannon by 5 tiles and damage by 30% for 1 shot. Can only target buildings. Can target and shoot into fog of war. And reveals the shot location through fog for 3 seconds with a 200-second cooldown. Okay, interesting. So you get a couple of cannons out, and maybe you can really snipe some buildings without too much of a retaliation from the opponent. That's pretty cool. I like to see abilities. There aren't too many in Age of Empires at the moment, active abilities. So yeah, not bad. I guess this will just increase their strength in Imperial Age. The Fog of War's kind of nice. I don't know how much that'll affect by the time you are Imperial Age. The Fog of War, you tend to know what your opponent is building by that point, unless they make a really big tech switch. So I guess the reveal, shoot with 1 cannon, reveal the area, and then use your other cannons to actually specifically target things within the Fog of War. Cool. Holy Roman Empire, marching drills move speed bonus decreased to 5% in the Dark Age and 10% from the Feudal Age onward. So I think it's 10% by default. They've just reduced it by 5 in Dark Age. I guess they were finding it too strong in there. I never came across that too much. Did it affect their villagers? Or was it just infantry? Not sure, but they seemed to deem it necessary to change. Japanese, Shinobi blink cast time reduced from 0.85 to 0.4. Okay, cool. So they'll be blinking away a little bit quicker. Shinobi sabotage cast time reduced from 2 seconds to 1.25. Nice. That's very quick now, well, you'll be able to blink away quicker. So quite a couple of decent buffs to the Shinobi. I don't even know how to say this. Atakabune cost, maybe Atakabune cost reduced from 170 food to 170 food, 220 wood, 220 gold to 100 food, 220 wood, 220 food, 220 gold. My god, that was yeah, a mouthful. So a big food decrease there, and the rocket damage increased from 30 to 40. I'm afraid I don't know what this unit is. I'm gonna have to Google it quick, cause let's have a quick look. It is the it's the boat. That's why I've never seen it. It's the warship. Okay, cool. So they're just reducing the food cost of the ship and increasing the damage of the rocket. Yumi Ashigaru, feudal health increased. So this is the Japanese archer, and it's a lot cheaper archer. It does a little bit less damage, but it's now having a bit more health than it did have. So nice. They felt kind of weak, but they could be really strong if you get the bannerman to support them and give them the extra damage. So yeah, just making Japanese maybe a little stronger in the feudal age, which I know they are often going for fast castle and just foregoing feudal as much as possible. Tatara cost reduced from 75 gold to 25 stone to 50 gold, 25 stone. So gold reduction there. Koka Township now benefits from military academy. So that's the increased infantry health and damage in the Imperial Age, and that'll now apply to the Shinobi. So a few buffs here for Shinobi. Japanese corrected the selection on some Japanese buildings where the selection bounds extended beyond its footprint. Ooh. Mongols removed rally point command from Mongol Gur since they do not produce units. Destroyed Mongol landmarks that haven't unpacked can now be attacked while under repair. Fixed a bug where technology queued at Prayer Tent would be removed from the queue upon completion of monastic shrines. That was a tough one to say. Mongol pasture sheep production time reduced from 140 to 116. This is in concert with the changes to sheep food. Cool, great, keeping everything in line, not missing certain things. Mangadai cost reduced from 120 food 40 gold to 90 food 60 gold, and the double production cost from 160 stone to 150 stone. So decent reduction in food cost, but an increase in gold, and train time reduced by 28 seconds. So those Mongol games where they're trading a lot and getting a lot of gold, we could start to see that Mangadai mass come in again, which is always a pain to deal with, especially if you are lax on your scouting and you don't see it coming. Get those palisade walls up, get those archers out to counter it. Oh, Mangadai is such a pain. So yeah, not excited to see this one come back in. Mangadai are the mounted archer from the Mongols, and they can move whilst shooting. So yeah. Secondary town center, reduced cost 900 wood to 850 wood, and early horseman ranged armor increased from 1 to 2. Okay, so pretty strong horsemen, and that's in the Dark Age. So 2 ranged armor in the Dark Age. Okay, pretty strong, pretty tough. Malians fishing boat drop off 10% of their food as gold. Okay, another passive gold income for the Malians. There, Ottomans military school train time multiplier reduced from 5 times to 4.75. So a bit of a reduction here. Military schools produce units for free at what was a 5 times train time, and is now 4.75. So a bit of a buff there. The Istanbul Observatory is working as intended when landmark is destroyed and being rebuilt. Okay, good to know. Grand Galleys scale production speed per age like their influence does, and Istanbul Imperial Observatory landmark now applies to Grand Galleys. Okay, nice. Rus Lodgius fishing boat train time increased to 46 seconds. Wow, that's a long time for one fishing boat. I know they can transform into their other ships, but and they don't have to return to the dock to return their fish. They just stay out on that fishing spot and will teleport the fish back to the dock. But yeah, a long train time there. But no other changes for the Rus. So quite a strong Civ at the moment, always top of the tables, both on the ladder and in tournaments, I think. So interesting to see no other changes there. Variant Civs, the Ayyubids corrected an issue where the Ayyubid villagers could not force construct stone wall bastion segments. The military wing, a cause of the Ayyubid strength, as the Desert Raider used to pop out straight away on age up, it now takes 15 seconds, so in line with the increased train time of the king for the English. It's this 15-second window that the opponent will now have to react to the Desert Raider. The economic wing growth, the villagers have been reduced from 8 to 7. This was very strong as well, could keep you in line with someone even ahead of someone who went 2TC as well. So this is just bringing this a bit more in line, and again, not making too big of a swing in changes. You know, it's not like 8 to 5, because that would probably render it a lot weaker. Tradewing advisors, feudal age Atabegs increased from 2 to 3, and castle from 4 to 5. These are the units that you can put into your production buildings that increase the health of any units produced there. I think it's 20%. So feudal age 3, this is actually kind of interesting. 20% extra health onto, you know, the archers or your desert raiders if you want to produce them, for example, could make them pretty strong. I'm interested in this. This could be very interesting to try out, and I think our Ubis just needed some different tactics, different strategies going forward. So nice. I like this. Unexpected change, but a welcome one. Jeanne d'Arc, artillery shot. That's just the artillery that we went over for French. No other changes for Jeanne d'Arc, despite the French getting the buff to the villager output from TC. So maybe Jeanne d'Arc a little bit weaker now. And Zhu Shi's legacy corrected an issue with Temple of the Sun where the building had 7,500 health instead of 5,000. Cool. What's on the horizon coming up? That wraps everything we have in store for you for this update. Be sure to keep your eyes peeled for our follow-up patch, which we're targeting to release a few weeks after the Red Bull Wololo El Renado qualifiers have completed. We have lots more changes coming that we are excited to get into your hands. Here's a sneak peek of what we have in store for our next patch. So this was kind of a like prelim patch, and it sounds like we'll get a much bigger one halfway through this season, which is great to see. This will include a full rework of the Roos bounty system. Okay, that is big. I wonder what they'll do with that. The Deerstones will grant access to a new unit, the Khan's Hunters. That's got to be another mounted unit, right? Possibly. Cool. Love it. Love that they're adding new units. Awesome. Awesome stuff. The House of Learning will receive some new and compelling technologies. A mid-season map pool refresh. Yes, very nice. And many more balanced tweaks. Okay, so they're probably seeing how this one turns out, how it affects the percentage win rates and stuff across the board. And we'll make more tweaks going forward. This patch will also see the return of our seasonal event map Monsters. You can expect to close out the summer, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, with the return of some familiar and friendly monsters on land and sea. They will be shaking things up a bit to make it easier to enjoy the fun. Cool, this was a fun little event last year. There's some monsters that appear around the map, and if you are the first to kill them, you get some extra little bonuses. It's nice. Just some more interactive elements on each map. We're incredibly excited to share Season 8 with you and can't wait to hear what you think. The team is eagerly buttoning up our next patch, but we're always keeping an eye on your feedback. We're also turning our attention to what's next as we plan for our Season 9 release later this year and even more exciting offerings in spring 2025. Hopefully a new DLC and civs will be great. So that was the patch 8 preview. Very nice. I think Season 7 ends on the 17th. So I presume Season 8 will start... here we go. Season 8 from July 18th. Awesome. So just a few days left to go. Thanks for watching this. It was chilled. It was a bit relaxed. But yeah, thanks for getting to the end. I will timestamp all the little bits in the bottom. This is just more of a verbal note to myself to remember to do that. Timestamp all the different points of the update preview. And I'll have a caster game coming tomorrow afternoon. So if you want to see that, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much. See you later. Bye.